welcome to day 10 of 100 days trading to profitability. So today we took a total of two trades, I believe, and we took them both on my funded account and both of them on my evals. So let's go ahead and jump right into the charts here. On the left side, I've got NASDAQ, and on the right side, I have ES. And we're going to go ahead and just take a look at the trades that I took and why I took them. So the first trade was a stop out at break even. So it was break even, it didn't lose anything. And the second trade was a win. So today was a green day. It was a great day. Let's go ahead and go over each one of those trades. So this is today, right before market open, 1 minute before market open. Today is the 17th of March. So March 17th, 2026, if you guys are back testing. And going into the day right before market opened, this is what the market looked like. We had the Asian session overnight, London session overnight, and then we had previous day highs that we were literally so close to sweeping out. And it was the same thing over here on ES. However, we actually already swept those highs. So we had an SMT divergence, but we do see that as soon as we opened, this is what happened. We shot down really fast, and we actually tapped into a 15-minute fair value gap right here, which would have been great for longs because as soon as we manipulated to the downside, we actually inversed this tiny little gap. And this is actually a trade I would have loved to take. I don't like trading super early into market open, but something like this isn't bad. You can target either this high right here, or I believe there was maybe this high right here, the next closest high, basically, because that's a ridiculous trade. You don't want to do a 1-to-1 point or 1 to 0.3 RR, but you could just do a 1-to-1 RR and call it good. But anyways, I did not trade that, so don't worry. I'm just showing you what it looked like. But market opened and we went up, 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 and what happened was we swept those highs, okay? And this morning, I actually was very bearish because we just swept liquidity on the daily time frame, and we are also in a daily fair value gap. And it looked the exact same on over here on ES. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it looked like. So we swept this liquidity, this daily, and then we were in this fair value gap, this daily fair value gap. So because of that, we had a high time frame liquidity sweep and a high time frame fair value gap get hit. And so I was very bearish. I wanted to see us, after we hit this, I wanted to see us go down. However, the reason I switched from being bearish to bullish was because there's no clear draw on liquidity down here. You got the London lows way down here, and that's too far. Yeah, you got this low here and this low here. They're kind of significant. You got this one right here as well, but these are super far. I mean, you got to go, what is that, 350 points just to get there. So you get the idea. I wasn't wanting to look for shorts unless we came all the way down here and then we retested maybe down here and continued. I only would have taken this short right here, but that did not happen. So I wanted to see what price did after this. When you see a liquidity sweep, usually it sweeps it and aggressively switches directions. And that did not happen today, which made me think, okay, maybe we want to keep going higher. So you'll see what price looked like. We didn't really aggressively go down. We just kind of sat in that fair value gap, that daily fair value gap for a while. But right here, let me go ahead and show you what happened. So because we did not aggressively go down and because there were not a lot of clear draws to the downside, I looked above us and I figured, what's above us? Where do we want to go? And I noticed we have this London session high right here from a few days ago on both ES and NASDAQ. So here it is on ES. I'll go ahead and mark it out right there. And we never took that. And the next high after that is like way up here. So I thought that this was the next draw on liquidity. And because of that, I wanted to wait for price to come back down and maybe tap into a 15-minute fair value gap like it did here, and then go up. And that's where I want it to take a long. And this is what the trade looked like. Let me go ahead and turn off these little indicators here, and I'll show you what I did. So right here, once we came back down, right, we didn't get an aggressive move to the downside, so I'm looking for longs. I noticed that we swept the opening low on ES. Let me go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. We swept it, putting in an SMT divergence, which means you sweep it on one indice, but you don't sweep it on the other. And that to me was a really good sign. We also put in a little tiny breaker block right here. This little white candle right there is a breaker block right before we swept that. And this is the 1 minute time frame, but it looked a little bit cleaner on the 30-second time frame, that breaker block. But it is also here around that area on ES as well. And I actually entered this trade on ES. The reason I took this on ES was because these London highs are closer, a little bit closer than they are to NASDAQ. And because ES is cheaper to trade, just due to sizing. So I entered this trade right when we just showed a lot of pressure up to the upside. And I put my stops below here, and this was one of my problems. This is where I got a little bit greedy today. I should have taken profits at this high right here. I should have just called it at a 1 to 1.7 RR, but instead I got a little greedy and I tried to go for a home run today. And this was the trade that I tried to go for. So this should have been profits right here. That's just the next internal high. But let's go ahead and see what happened. So fast forward price a little bit, went back down. It hit that breaker, which is a really nice indication of telling us that it wants to go up. And then we start going up, 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 right. Oh, it didn't even actually ever hit this. So I guess it did. I thought it did. Oh, that's what it was. It hit it on NASDAQ. So because we hit that high on NASDAQ, once we hit that, I actually moved stops to break even, just like that. And I got stopped out at break even right here. However, yes, I got stopped out at break even. Trying to remember what happened exactly. Because I actually lost this trade. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so I moved stops to break even, and then I hurry and entered this trade on my eval account. And on my eval, I actually got stopped at break even right here, but I didn't get stopped on my funded account. And then once we broke this high right here, let me use a different tool here. Once we broke this high, I moved my stops from on my funded account to break even. And basically the moral of the story is I got stopped out on my evals, but I did not get stopped out on my funded account, because on my my evals, I re-entered this trade right here. Once I got stopped out of break even, I was very sure that it was going to continue to go up. So this was my second entry of this trade on my evals, and that's the one that got stopped out. So at this moment, I'm negative like $700 on my evals, but I'm plus like $20 on my funded because I got stopped at break even. So hopefully that makes sense. And now I want to show you the second trade that I took. So that was the first. It didn't work out super well. I still thought that we wanted to go higher, but I noticed that as we were doing all this and staying in this range, we actually, in this range right here, we actually formed an hour fair value gap below us right here on ES and on NASDAQ. It was on both. Let me make that a little bit smaller. So we formed this, and then what happened was we failed to continue to go up. Obviously, that's where I got stopped out. And when I got stopped out, I wasn't revenge trading, but I was reevaluating my trade setup, and I was realizing a couple of things. It might not be good for longs right now because on ES we are holding this 15-minute gap right here. And then if we zoom into the 5-minute time frame, there is this 5-minute gap right here, and this one specifically also held. So let's go to the 1-minute time frame now that we have those two drawn out and see how it held. So we go back up and we hold that 5-minute, and about right here somewhere, once I saw pressure down, I actually was like, you know what? I like the way that we're creating lower lows and lower highs. We're now respecting all these gaps and we're going down. I think the next draw on liquidity is this 1 hour gap right here. Let me go ahead and make it a little bit shorter. I think that price wanted to go down to here and then maybe even target the London highs after that. So I wanted to catch that short. Specifically, these lows right here, these are relative equal lows. There's a bunch of lows right next to each other. And that was actually my target. So it was inside the fair value gap. So this is what the trade looked like. And let's go ahead and fast forward it. I entered this with both my evals and my funded account. So let's go ahead and see what happened with this trade. And right there, it smashed take profit. So that was the draw, and it was a great trade. I think it was an A+ setup. If I had stayed on the charts longer, I probably would have looked for longs going up to these London highs, because we swept more liquidity and we tapped back into an imbalance in the market, and I wanted to see us go up. So that was the trade today. I first took that long, looked something like this, but we got stopped out. Let me go ahead and just fix that real quick. Targeting these highs, and I got a little greedy. I probably could have taken profits or moved to break even. Well, I did move to break even, but you get what happened. That was just a little bit too greedy of a trade, trying to go for this. I should have gone for this. Either way, I still wouldn't have hit it. So one break even and one W. The W made up for all my losses, so I actually finished green on all of my accounts today, which was amazing. And yeah, I mean, today's only day 10 of 100 days to profitability, and I have seen a tremendous change in the way I trade. I've seen so much patience. I've seen so much discipline. I'm still not perfect. There's still a lot of things that I can improve on, specifically my emotions after I lose. But you know, we're making progress and we're positive. We're green. With 10 days, I have 8 green days and 2 red days. So that is, I think, one of the best. This is kind of the best time I've ever been trading in the last 2 years. And I think it's mainly due to the fact that I'm using this channel to treat it as a journal, a back testing session, and a trade recap session to go over why I took it, what I could have done better, and what I did right. So, with that being said, those were the trades today. Ended the 10th day of 100 days to profitability on a green day. So we will see you guys tomorrow, if I take a trade tomorrow, for day 11 of 100 days to profitability. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or advice for things that I can do better, let me know in the comments, because I will definitely get back to you. And I will try to help you as much as I can if you have any questions about the way that I trade. So with that being said, peace.